Okay, let's fly through this and get out of here. We're still on grants and loans. Loans, Ecovillage Training Center, or Training Services, otherwise known as LETS. That's where we're at right now. So we have 5 years. Part A are 5-year loans. They go to $25,000. Now the criteria for those loans will basically be established by the ETC. They must be secured loans. We're not giving away whacked out loans. And there's 2 sets of them. The first one, A, 5 years, up to $25,000. If they have a credit score of 0 to 650, it's 9%. If they have a credit score of 651 to 700, it's 8%. And that's a fixed rate for the 5-year term. 701 to 750 credit score brings them in at 7%. And if they have a 751 plus credit score, it brings them in at 6%. There's $14,762,475 every year in this allocation, which is 50% of that 20% budget, which was loans. 50% of that 20%, the loans part, and the 20% is 40% of grants and loans. The 40% of that 98% will start off at the heirloom project, and we're clear up. I always do the numbers like this so I can follow the numbers as much as anything. Now, the second part of the loans are for discretionary loans. They can be combined with grants if that's what the ETC decides. It comes in at $14,762,475, or the other 50%. These loans are never serviced. These loans are held by the POP. And if you fault on those loans, we will foreclose on you. In the meantime, what we're doing now, we're taking a new step here, is we're helping the farmers recover and get on a very environmentally friendly, very fuel efficient project of their own, each and every one of them. It's going to take a long time, $14 million a year here, $14 million a year there. It's going to take a long time, but we can make it happen. And by the way, these loans, the discretionary loans, are 10-year loans at a fixed rate, the same fixed rates as here. So now we've got the grants and loans in place. 10% more of that grant loan money, that $147 million, goes to labor, $14,760,475 a year. Now follow this here. These weren't here before. These weren't part of the program before. So we have people who owe on student loans. I don't care what level they're at. They owe on student loans. All these jobs, you have to have a kid of your own, a biological child, or one that you've adopted, kind of thing, you're a guardian thereof. And they have to be living with you. You have to be really needing this job. They paid $20 an hour. They were calculated at $25 an hour. And that's just for Benny packages, things of that sort. But basically they paid $20 an hour, and 50% of that is going to go to pay off those student loans. In the meantime, 40% of that 10%, $5,904,990, goes to that. That will create 113 plus jobs, crunched down at $25 an hour, 2,080 hours a year. So full-time jobs, 20 of them. But the catch is once those loans are paid off, we make room for new people who need loans. So they're not totally permanent, but they are permanent in the sense that the 113 stay there. And in the sense that, once again, I can't say it enough, this really only represents about 37.5% of the actual number at best, which is probably 50% of another number. So no loans owing. The old $15 an hour, we got 30% for that at $4,428,142.50, crunched at $1,875 or 25% more, to include taxes, Social Security, things like that. And then the third part is the nonviolent at-risk youth, sent there by the good Honor. Thank you, Honor, for all the help and labor. These are nonviolent at-risk youth ages 16 to 17 years of age. They will make $10 an hour. They get $2,952,495, or 20% of that budget every year to do it, crunched out at $12.50 an hour, because these kids will have certain amounts taken out and or otherwise applied. Whatever's left over of that 50%, best guess, $1,476,247.50 goes to court costs, attorney fees, victims assessment fund, you name it. The judge ordered it, 50% is being paid. If you owe anything, you might be one of them kids that just happens to be homeless or a runaway because you come from a bad place. In that case, the judge might say, hey, you need this. So you never know. Number 2, 738,123.75, or 25% of those youths' income will go directly towards a college fund for them. Okay? And if they choose not to go to college when they turn 18, that's up to them. If they happen to be incarcerated and they go somewhere else to like the big house, well, then it'll go onto their books automatically. In the meantime, it goes into a college fund held by the pop. And then the last 25%, 738,123.75, goes to the youths themselves for pocket money. We got to give them money they earned. We're going to make sure they have some money. Plus, they have hope of college, and they actually have hope, some of them anyways, of finally getting some of their fines and stuff paid off, and therefore the government off their back as they acclimate to adulthood. What did we create? We created 113 jobs at 25 an hour counting bennies, 113 jobs. These are full-time jobs at $18.75 counting bennies, and 113 jobs, that cut the number interesting, at $12.50 an hour counting bennies, for another creation on top of everything else that we've already done of 339 more jobs, with the specific objective of helping the ETC transform government lands, particularly wetlands and desert areas, into power-producing, eco-friendly little villages and communities. Not necessarily people live in. They might be an insect village for all we know, whatever the ETC comes up with. So long as it's generating power for America and keeping everything clean, that's the objective. And doing our best as possible not to disturb the ecosystems, but nevertheless recognizing that some of these ecosystems have been developed around garbage, and we need to clean that up. So the ETC has some more labor to take out there and work with at this point. Just pick up the phone and say, hey, I need this from this part of my budget. I need it for my grants and loan budget on labor. And these folks will probably end up going out to a lot of the farms and stuff with them and helping them reclaim farms after natural disasters, or for seniors, disabled folks and whatnot. It's all up to the ETC. And the one thing I wanted to throw in here is, with the two-party system, Republican, Democrat, it's really no different than the Pullet barrel. They were all at each other's throats also. Zinoviev, Kamenev on one side, Zinoviev and Kamenev on one side, Bukharin in the middle, Stalin and Lenin on another side, and Trotsky and Lenin on another side. It's really no different. One of the things I'm delivering to you, besides long-term security, which helps the banks, it helps the economy, it helps everybody. People can finance if they know they have 10 years worth of employment. People can go ahead and get a car, get a house, develop a credit score if they know they have 5 to 10 years worth of employment. And colleges can loan more money if they're getting their money paid back. In the meantime, what I offer is that middle line. I'm an independent, not a Republican or a Democrat. So therefore, there's no bipartisan bickering here. Look, you do it like this, and you can blame me for it. Blame me for it. Everybody, Republican, Democrat, both sides of the aisle, few independents, get on the same page, make it the law, establish it, get it going, and let it run its 25-year intended initial course. Let it settle. And then you can build from there, as you're going to see. And we're about to really take off in growth. As you see, we're just now starting to. So think about that medium ground, that part where I can't say I did this because I'm a Democrat. I didn't go for this because I'm a Republican. I have no one really here that I am indebted to. I don't owe the AARP or other lobbyist group for that campaign contribution I got. Think about that.